Hey guys, how's it going? Jason Sensational here. Welcome back to the channel. Where today we're doing something a little bit different, or if you've been around in the channel, this is something that I used to do quite frequently actually, which is actually the main content on my channel. This is going to be a deck guide on Taric Pantheon, not quite as extensive and edited as the master classes that I make on this channel, but I did want to at least make out a little bit of a deck guide on this deck because I think it is quite powerful right now and I think it is a little bit deceptively simple to play at first glance, but it does have a little bit of nuances that I want to go over. So this is your deck guide to Taric Pantheon. I am your instructor, Jason Sensation, and let's jump right into the video. So before we dive too much into the deck guide, I just want to go over the deck list really quickly. Taric Pantheon has been a meta staple ever since Pantheon pretty much came out. It was always experimented in different sorts of combinations, such as Mono Pantheon, Taric Pantheon, Shyvana Pantheon. And right now, I've sort of settled onto the Taric Pantheon list that my friend GrandpaRoji has been playing. I'll link his Twitter in the description. But the overall deck list is quite standard. It is heavily focused on our faded units, being Saga Seeker, Pantheon, as well as Wounded White Flame. And then we have just a few support units on the side, such as Bright Steel Protector and Mountain Goat. With these sort of decks, it's very low in the unit density. You'll notice that we have way more spells than we actually have units, which is quite unique for a lot of what you think to be like a Demacia mid-range deck. But for the faded sort of Pantheon kind of package, you do want to have a lot of spells in order to be consistently proccing the faded, to gain your stats, as well as being able to level up your Pantheon as well. So for the following combat tricks, we do have some removal cards from Demacia, such as Single Combat, as well as Concerted Strike. And for our array of buffs, we have cards like Confront, which is able to give us Challenger, Sharp Sight, Pale Cascade, Guiding Touch, Zenith Blade, and then rallies, of course, with the form of Golden Aegis. Now let's just take a very high-level glance at the overall game plan of the deck. When you look at a Demacia mid-range deck like this, something very similar to like Sivir Auction, the first thing that comes into mind is just a solid mid-range plan, and that is correct. Pantheon Taric, or Taric Pantheon, is probably the biggest and strongest sort of mid-range Smackdown deck that you will find within the meta. It is a Demacia mid-range deck that goes slightly bigger than every other sort of Demacia mid-range deck out there. And that is, of course, due to the ability of the faded units to continually scale throughout the game. So for our overall game plan, we have two really main game plans, and these will coincide with each other quite frequently, just given how similar the game plans want to play out. The first one is just leveling Pantheon. You get the faded proc every turn. After 5 turns of faded procs, or 5 turns of targeting your allies, you will level up Pantheon. And what this does is it gives Pantheon a number of keywords, and a lot of these keywords, when you roll them, can often not just win you the game on the spot, especially if you are able to buff up your Pantheon to like, 7, 10 attack. These could include keywords like Elusive, Quick Attack and Challenger, Scout, or even just Lifesteal against an overall aggro deck, allowing you to just stall for a couple more turns. The second one is more involved with Taric. Now, Taric, I think, is most commonly associated with the ability to cast Rally on Taric and then being able to swing 3 times in one turn. But I think from a higher level perspective, Taric is often just a very good card at helping you outvalue your opponent. Not only does it grant Taric and the supported ally tough, which makes it a lot harder for the opponent to trade into our units, meaning that A, they have to commit more resources into it while having less efficient means because of the tough keyword. The second one is just the ability to start outvaluing your opponent. With this sort of deck, you have practically zero draw except for cards like Guiding Touch and Pale Cascade, but when you duplicate or cast Guiding Touch or Pale Cascade onto Taric, you can duplicate that spell and convert that 1 card draw into 2, and this will start helping you cycle through your deck, finding more combat tricks, finding more efficient ways of proccing your faded cards, and overall just helping you outdraw your opponent. Now, of course, having both on the field allows you to do some really ridiculous things. You start cloning Zenith Blades, you start to go really big and really wide all at the same time, and you can progress your Pantheon level ups your faded procs using a spell onto Taric and then supporting an ally unit, because it does work when it casts a second spell from the Taric support. Now let's talk a little bit about the mulligan. Keeping in mind our overall general game plan, we want to focus on leveling Pantheon. We want to focus on being able to protect our units, play out our very solid mid-range game plan. And so I've broken down the mulligan into a few sort of conditional buckets. The first one is the always keeps. Because our deck is so low on unit density, when you see the units in your hand, you often not just are very, very happy to keep them. And of course, your Saga Seeker and Wounded Flight Flame are already two of the strongest cards within your deck, so you'd be very, very happy to see them. Excuse me. Mountain Goat is just a one-of in the deck, but again, having a unit, being able to generate a gem, just an early blocker, very, very important within this deck. Sorry again. So out of all of your units, you really want to find the ones that can play early, because not only do they provide you with early blockers against potential aggro decks, it also provides you an early unit on, so you can start helping level up your champions. Because if you play, the difference between having a Saga Seeker on turn 1 versus a Wounded White Flame on turn 3 is the turn 2, where you actually get 2 mana to potentially play a spell onto the Saga Seeker, thus advancing your Pantheon game plan by a whole turn. Now, for the good keeps, if you already have like maybe a Saga Seeker, maybe you already have a Wounded White Flame, then you want to start considering some of your more core key cards, such as cards like Confront, Zenith Blade, and Taric. These cards are just really good at not only providing you with proactive plays and proactive faded procs, but also helping you just overall progress your own game plan. Zenith Blade onto any faded unit is a very, very powerful play, and can just create a huge sided unit while also completely pressuring down your opponent at the same time. Taric, of course, again, being a very solid mid-range sort of card, not only providing the tough, but also the value in the card draw as well. Now, moving on to our more situational keeps, we have Bright Seal Protector as well as Single Combat. Obviously, you don't want to play Bright Seal Protector as a 2-mana 3/2. You want to use the ability to have a way of targeting your unit to proc Faded as well as level up Pantheon. And Single Combat is sort of a situational card because you're very tight on mana in your early turns, and you want to prioritize other cards like the Pale Cascades and things like that to value trade. You don't really want to be sacking off your units or like trying to 2-for-1 your unit using Single Combat. You want to use this as a prime removal when you need to. So Single Combat is a very, very key tool in helping us stay stay at least even with our opponent's board if they're able to go wide. So against any sort of aggro swarm deck, having a Single Combat with a card like Wounded White Flame allows us to provide some really good board control aspects and thin down our opponent's board. And that's really, really key. Same with Bright Seal Protector, very good anti-aggro tool. If you can curve Saga Seeker into Bright Seal Protector, you're already off to a very, very good start. And then there's the more situational keeps cards like the Pale Cascades, the Sharp Sights, the other 2-mana spells, the ones that can kind of pair with your early units, but you can only really keep those when you do have specifically a faded card in hand. And then finally, the not good enough cards to keep. These are usually self-explanatory: the Rallies, the Concerted Strikes, the Bastion. Just your expensive cards that are very, very situational and you don't really expect to need to keep in the mulligan. So that's just an overall general guide of how to mulligan. Fairly straightforward. Look for units, look for your good spells, and then look for everything else. Now, I think the final last thing I do want to touch up upon that I think is slightly unintuitive if you're a little bit new to the deck, and that is proactively leveling up Pantheon. I think when a lot of people approach the faded sort of keyword, they want to use it very reactively as a sort of countermeasure against an opponent's buff card. So they might like open attack with their faded unit, and then try to bait their opponent into blocking so that they can then cast like the Pale Cascade and kind of get a value trade. That usually doesn't work because your opponent's just smart enough to say, oh, okay, I can't block here because it's not beneficial for me. And then they let the attack through, and then now you're left off in a turn where you haven't procced your Pantheon level up. And I do think with this deck, it is quite important to be progressing your Pantheon as fast as you can, with within reason, that not like forcing out some weird plays. But onto the topic of being able to proactively level up Pantheon, it is important to sort of look at your hand state, look at what you need. So I think a very common example is just turn 3 Wounded White Flame and you have 3 spell mana banked. A lot of players will just open attack with it, hope their opponent blocks, and then play a spell onto that. But you can get a little bit more creative, or when you think you need to be leveling up Pantheon, maybe you have too much mana you need to spend. In this case, you could play a card like Confront onto Wounded White Flame as a very proactive play. Even if they have no units that you need to challenge, you can still cast Confront, have the value in the challenger later on in the game, while also procking your Pantheon trigger, procking your Faded proc, and just pushing a little bit extra damage. Now, of course, the most self-explanatory card is Zenith Blade. You just Daybreak this card, thin out your deck, draw another Zenith Blade, and you can play this again on a falling turn on a separate Faded card. This is probably like the easiest way of proactively leveling up your Pantheon, because it is very non-committal, very powerful play, and it's easy to protect with your other spells as well. Some other easy ways of doing this is with the gem from your goat, probably the most efficient way to be doing this proactive Pantheon trigger, and cards like Guiding Touch. You know, when you're full health because you're ahead as a mid-range deck, and you haven't triggered Pantheon that turn, and you have a lot of mana to burn, you can just cast a Guiding Touch onto a Wounded White Flame. Or even just cycling a Pale Cascade to draw a card and proc Faded for a turn. Because you do need to think a little bit more creatively, because mana could equal cards drawn with cards like Guiding Touch or Pale Cascade, and not using the cards means potentially not getting a Pantheon trigger, which slows down your overall win condition as well. So just look out for points where you can proactively cast these spells and get the Pantheon trigger in the turn if you need it. Finally, let's talk a little bit about matchups, because I do think that this deck is very, very powerful and probably quite well positioned into the current meta. So these are just some of the top decks out there, and you can see that the Taric Pantheon deck does actually quite well. Into a lot of these more chumpier control decks, such as Darkness or Banditry, Pantheon absolutely smashes these ones. Not only do you have super big units that often not need to be answered by themselves and can't be answered by cards like Pokestick, Vile Feast, and Darkness, you are able to completely just stress out all their hard removal, so the Vengeances, the mini morphs. You can get them out really easily while also just maintaining a full board of threats. Every unit in your deck is basically a threat against the deck like Darkness or even Banditry, and having the ability to play Overwhelm units as well as Rally just really shuts down their game plan. Not to mention you have super efficient removal in the form of Challenger cards, Single Combat, and Concerted Strike. The next on the list is Scouts, which I do believe is the second most played deck right now, according to Runeterra.ar. Scouts is just a super chump deck, right? They go wide with a lot of small units, and that's where we really feed with our bigger mid-rangier units. Having a Wounded White Flame against Scouts is pretty much just GG, because they're essentially never able to kill your Wounded White Flame, and you can just farm trade up with your Fury, with your Faded, and just overall outvalue just on board. Now I'll slightly lead ahead with the burn aggro matchups such as like Ziggs, Gnar, and while they might have a very similar sort of style to Scouts where they go wide on board and just try to go wider than us, the main difference between a deck like them and a deck like Scouts, which actually makes the burn aggro deck favored against Taric Pantheon, is of course the fact that they do have burn. For a deck like Scouts, you can go down to like 5 HP and not really care. But against a deck like Burn, when you go to less than 10 health, you're most likely just dead. So all of the Demacia-based decks that don't have units as big as ours, we are able to completely farm them using the ability to have faded units and spells and combat tricks. And for a similar pattern, Lurk falls into this similar style where they are a completely board-centric deck, but they are unable to outscale our faded units. So Lurk also falls behind and is kind of clumped into this scout sort of Demacia sort of unit mid-rangey piles. Last sort of deck I do want to touch up upon is Auction Gnar. This matchup is actually kind of interesting because it is very, very racy. This is probably one of the few matchups where Taric Rally is actually really important, because it's so important to be able to end the game as fast as you can. You could stall out the game with cards like Concerted Strike to kill their Rune Runner that has double attack, but in the same vein, they also have cards like Deny, which can kind of stop that. So they're aiming for a turn 6, 7 sort of lethal, and we need to sort of counteract that by either removing their key units or having counter lethal of our own. And now if we don't draw the right cards to answer their cards, we'll probably find ourselves in an unfortunate position in this matchup. The same kind of goes for them. If they don't have the right cards to deal with our cards, they can't deny the Concerted Strike, and we keep our board, then I think the matchup kind of swings in our favor. But the main reason why Taric Pantheon is doing so much better now than it was last season is simply because the Ionia decks are completely gone. At least for now, decks like Ari Kennen just no longer exist in ladder. Zoe Lee was already far gone in ladder stats, and those are two very, very main targets of Pantheon. So Pantheon having the Ionia matchups kind of disappear from the meta makes it a lot better overall right now. So that's going to wrap up the deck guide portion of this video. I'm going to show you guys some games of the deck and showcase just the overall things I covered in this video, starting from the mulligans, the play patterns, to sort of how you should use your resources and how you should practically level up your Pantheon. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. This definitely is something different that I used to do in the past a lot, but recently with the daily uploads I haven't had as much time, but I do have time to make this video. So if you did like this sort of style and content, please do let me know if you guys would prefer the more in-depth sort of edited, more of the masterclass over this sort of guide, or if you like this guide over the masterclass. I'm very flexible in what you guys prefer, so please do let me know down below in the comments or with your like and subscribe. But I thank you guys for watching, stick around for the games, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace out and take care. What the heck? Some Callista gamers in the chat? Any Callista gamers? We keep Concerted Strike? Roji's the hand just cracked. I played this on 3, I played this on 4, and I Zenith played. Isn't this hand cracked? I don't get a Daybreak the Zenith played, but... Pantheon? Pog? Pantheon? Pog? Wait, this hand is... Oh. Oh. That's not very poggers. Develop? Develop? Always develop? Always develop? Aw, man. Callista? Oh no. He had another one. I knew he was thinking about developing a second one. I mean, this is kind of cracked now. What's funny is he's just gonna drop like a 4 mana. He's gonna drop like a 4 mana. Whatchamacallit, right? And then he can still play Deny? He can still deny. What is up with that? Why can he still deny me right now? How's Callista's leveling? I don't have a spell I can actually play. It's kind of funny. I don't want to get syncopated. I could even get like refuge. I could just like single combat the Callista. I don't hate that. I just want to get a proc. He like twins here. I'm really sad. I could just play Pantheon. Then what I do? Then I could Pantheon spell. Such a strange position. Just because he has a 4 mana Hydrine with Deny up, I'm feeling a little bit awkward. It's just like sort of weirdly awkward. I might just like open Pantheon spell. And then we'll try to force something out. Is that good? So I can Pantheon spell plus Taric spell, or I could just Taric spell. But ideally I like Concerted Strike or something. That's so weird. I also didn't get a proc last turn, that's kind of bad. He denies his Pantheon, I'm really sad. Like with the Nopify. I don't want to stun this guy though. Ugh, what the hell is this? So I can just go like Taric's Blessing, and then I just have single combat Concerted next turn. I don't really care about Callista. You can play Viego too, oh my god, and then still have Denia? That's so wild. Why are we like somewhat losing? It's not. It's so weird that we're like almost losing here. We need to try to level Pantheon as fast as we can here. We're fine. I wonder. Wait, what? Really? Uh-huh. Okay. Now if he plays like Viego, we have single combat. Okay, I guess we're fine. Yeah, I overreacted. That's a card. Bastion open. Unbelievable. So if we do this, he can't do anything. He could like syncopate, I guess, but then we have Concerted. Okay, yeah, we're chillin'. Ding chillin'. And then next time we just open Bastion, win the game or something like that. Sure. Yeah, we can just Concerted. I'll just wait for him to attack with Callista. Oh, my Taric levels, and now they can't die. Do I even need a Bastion? I guess like Bastion's my only spell, but there's like no need for me to even Bastion, sort of. Imagine if we Concerted Strike on stack and he just summons Hydrovine off of Callista. That'd be like a kind of forehead moment. That's kind of cool, honestly. It'd be so funny if it'd be so funny if we just accidentally killed a Hydrovine and then he just brought it back. Yeah, this game wasn't very fair, huh? It's kind of funny. We both did the strongest things we could. He just got dumpstered on, holy moly. Aikido? Trying to bully me and gatekeep me? Is this too greedy? Roji, would you keep Taric Zenith on an even attack token? Seems so nuts. But if I don't draw a unit, I'm kinda sad. Always keep Taric Zenith? Alright, easy money. . We're so good at the game! It's not fair how good at the game we are. We're so good at the game. Oh my god. Concerted, let's go. We'll just float 3 and then Taric Zenith on 4. Or do we just Zenith Blade on turn 3? Cause like, what if he just like kills my unit? I kinda just want a Zenith Blade here. I'll just play Taric and just open attack and just get tough anyways. I don't like doing nothing, and then if I do it next turn, he has the option of just killing my Saga Seeker, and that'd really slow me down. I don't think that's the plan right now. Well, I still play Taric and just attack and get tough. It's like doing any of this stuff is just not doing it. I want to get tough so it can't like randomly die to random things. I did tap out, so if he has like a 6-mana Thermo, he does get us. Does not get us. Now we have Concerted Strike for the Gnar, and there should be relatively little counterplay. You have to poke my face. Ooh, Mystic. And then he could only have, he's limited to pretty much exactly 3 Sisters. And I could honestly just say I don't care about you and just go White Flame Zenith. Like, I can just say goodbye to my Saga Seeker. Realistically, it's not that important. This next turn I can go Zenith plus Blessing if I need to. So he just straight up attacks. I don't think I really care that much. Consideration to block this just prevent Sedge damage. He's doubting himself. It's definitely a very scary position from his side. Like, if I just Sharp Sight, he's so sad, isn't he? He might even pull with this and then we just straight up win. I don't think he can make such, like, passive plays by not just challenging Gnar here. He gets blown out really easily, but I think he just has to accept that. And it's good for him, because I'm not going to save it. Oh. So he has to be playing exactly Flash Freeze. I'll see how he challenges. If he challenges this way, he at least has, like, potential Flash Freeze. I'm happy taking this pass regardless if it happens. Okay. Wait, do I care? I didn't fully decide if I cared. This deck doesn't run Flash Freeze. Does Troll Chant save it? I'm dealing 7 of 5. Troll Chant does save it. Insert it. YOLO. I thought you're the voice of reason, Roji. What happened? I think I'm okay sacking Taric too. YOLO is the reason. What is this? Mystic? Sure. Maybe I should have just inserted pre-combat. Ah well. Taric Confront? Sejuani is a little bit unfortunate. What? What? He's one turn off. We should just be fine. If draw a rally here, we just win. Most things just win here. Single's really good too. We'll just go wide and then we'll threaten lethal just by attacking. And ideally find like a buff card like a Herpsite, Ale, something like that for the Terror. I'm a little bit hesitant of developing Zenith into next turn, but it's only if he has exactly Sej, right? So maybe we're not that hesitant. It's fine. Alright, we just win, right? We need Sejuani plus double ping, and that just it's not in his mana range. I made a slight mistake of not concerting before on stack when I could have just like Entomb. Right? What's funny is there's a chance I... Is there a chance I lose? There's no... there is a chance I lose. It's kind of crazy. He doesn't have Troll Chant. That could be Troll Chanted, and then... If he Troll Chanted, I'd only be pushing 2, and then he like levels Sej and does something crazy. There's a chance, I suppose. Oh, now he's just dead. He Portal Cannons of Flame Chompers. Oh. Gobble, gobble, gobble. Give it to me. I would really like one. I would really like a faded unit. You keep single. Single's pretty good. You keep Taric. You're a monster, man. God. Alright, I will draw White Flame this turn. Roji! White Flame! Oh, open attack? That's so good for us. Okay. His hand is so bad we have a chance. What? Oh, you're scared of White Flame? That's fair. His hand was so bad we're still in this game. It's kind of funny how that works. They're gonna Pale. Would you Pale here over like Zenith Blade? Like having the stats on this actually feels kind of good. Like the permanent stat boost seems kind of relevant. A little awkward. Need faded unit? Oh, so you want a double draw? I see. Well, now I don't want to attack you anymore. If I do this, I still get an attack. He'd have like sharp-sided trade. I feel really bad about that. Yo, Silver Serpent with the follow, thank you so much. Really appreciate it. We'll just like open Zenith Blade next turn. Maybe. Could have still jammed the Zenith Blade, honestly. Oh, Pantheon's a top deck. Why is Pantheon just so good here? It's actually absurd how good Pantheon is here. Like, what does he do? That's gonna be a no from me, buddy. And if he does the resolve thing, I have the Pale thing. Okay. You wanna attack into Pale, buddy? I didn't think so. Get wrecked, scrub. God, this matchup is so free. Told you.
Every work demands a piece of ourselves.
If I had a rally here, I would just win, huh? How funny is that? Like, why can't I just like rally and win the game this turn? So he would need to have the Sergeant in order to have like a chance.
We must all do our duty.
Not super happy with that. I mean, we could just like single combat Quinn and we're probably fine. If we're just single concert and we're totally fine, I guess. Saga and Zenith? Oh. Oh, hey, Hush. That's even better. Do we have mana? Or do we just bank mana? We banked mana, didn't we? I was pretty happy just banking mana there. Like, Saga Zenith doesn't block anything. No, just Concerted Strike this guy and then win the game. Better pull it. Yep.
No further. I'll stop you.
Not that it matters.
There is nowhere left to
Pretty good. There. Jace? Why Jace? Is this like a Iceborne deck? That'd be kind of hype. Why do we keep drawing Sagas here on turn 1? Are we just like that good at the game? It's an interesting one. Like, we could go Saga on turn 2 into Pale, or we can go Saga into Goat. Kind of interesting. What would you do here, Roji? I'm tempted to 3-keep like this, but keeping Pale doesn't really make sense if I go this. You'd full keep and jam Goat. Interesting. Because of like attack token, that's for sure like where my head's at. So if he doesn't have exactly Mystic Shot here, we're just getting so much value, right? As long as we get 1 gem here, we're like set for the rest of the game, sort of. Probably just another Iceborne deck. And why is he playing Jace? Maybe he's running like a Winter's Breath. Something ridiculous. We just top deck Taric here, right? I believe that we top deck Taric here. If I believe hard enough, it just happens. What? Hello? Somebody clip that for me, please. Why did that work? Oh my god. That was probably one of the silliest things that's happened to me so far. That's so funny. Ashen's kind of poggers. And it's so funny. You manifest too hard, the top 2 decks are Derek. Back mentality, let's go, buddy. How do I kinda care about the Pantheon, but I don't want to put myself in too awkward a position either. I can always replay Taric, I suppose. So I can just like guiding the Saga Seeker. No need a turbo. Or just like guiding touch draw 2. You can probably just start off with some Valley. So I find Zenith Void, we're not doing too much either. These guys probably don't do too much either. Need to be a little bit wary of Bird and Ice, so if we can just like keep this value train going, like there shouldn't be no reason we're too scared of anything bizarre. I don't know. can't Ice Pillar next turn, which is huge. Zenith is insane. Zenith is the draw I was waiting for. Now we have Pantheon flip on our attack as well. We're just missing a rally. That's all we kind of need right now. Still a little bit hesitant about exactly Bird and Ice. But Taric leveling is also kind of big. If we draw a rally, we just win. Alright. Can't Bird and Ice anymore. I like that. I'm happy with doing that. Open Bastion? Ooh, I like that. Opening without like a rally seems a little bit awkward sometimes. See what he does. We'll sharp sight you. It's kind of crazy that's just a 5 mana 5/6, huh? Optic Rally. Okay. It was yellow. It was yellow. He doesn't block with Trundle here, he's just dead, right? I can single combat this way and it's lethal, that's kind of cool. And then Troll Chant doesn't quite do it. I think Trundle is like pretty nice if you can get it off. I don't hate trying to go for lethal here. It's also unnecessary, right? Let's take it slow. There's no way we're losing next turn. Drop another Taric and Saga if he does the thing, yeah. Kinda neat, huh? Does he like Shock Blast just to think we guiding here? Look for out. Oh, that's interesting. He definitely could have done that. We should still be fine regardless. Shock Blast just to pop spell shields? I guess. It'd also just be like, oh, missed it. Unlucky. Never lucky. I could single combat this turn just to kill the Jace. Especially when these guys can't take damage. Seems alright. What am I afraid of? I don't know. Just don't feel afraid of anything. You like do some harsh wind stuff. Let's kill it now, just in case. Hey, another single combat. It's kind of good.
I will die when I am ready.
Usgur, the ancient. Usgur? How would you like to challenge my saga secret? Ooh! Let's go! That's cute. Gonna give it Overwhelm. I will insert it here. Paragon 4 is pretty good, huh? So that's gonna wrap it up from me. I hope you guys enjoyed the games, and I hope you guys enjoyed the deck guide. Do again, let me know if you did enjoy this sort of format, or if you'd rather like to see the more in-depth masterclass sort of style of things. By the way, this has been Jay Sensational. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll catch you guys next time. If you did make it this far into the video, type GrandpaRoji rocks. I'll spell it out for you guys in chat and down below in the comments. And again, GrandpaRoji's Twitter in the description. So be sure to check him out. Thank him for giving me the deck list. And I'll see you guys next time. Peace out and take care.